हेलो व्यूअर्स, वेलकम बैक माय यूट्यूब चैनल स्पिरिचुअल टॉक बाय टीटी। और एक दूसरे शानदार एपिसोड में आपका हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं। व्यूअर्स, बिफोर आई स्टार्ट विथ टुडेज सेशन विथ कार्तिक, let me just set little context for you. Have you ever wondered how Facebook, Instagram and other make us hook on them? Why people do crazy stuff just to get more likes, views, or feel depressed when they don't get views and likes? It happens with us, right? That is because social media companies or either these platforms are exploit one of our weakness that we are born with. That is our carving for others approval or attention. Our desire to be liked by others. In if you take in Vedic terminology, these desires are called as Vasanas. Vasanas are one of the reason we are born. We have some motivation. Without Vasanas, without desire, we cannot move, we cannot grow, we cannot succeed in our life. These desires carried forward from earlier lives. Everyone has them, maybe with varying degree of intensity. And management of these vasanas become very important for a human being. तो व्यूअर्स, मेरा आज का विषय भी यही है, आज का टॉपिक भी हमारा यही है, साइंस ऑफ वासनास। जो हमारी डिजायर्ड हैं, चाहे वो फुलफिल्ड हैं, अनफुलफिल्ड हैं, हम उनको कैसे कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं, यही आज का टॉपिक है। तो मैं आपको इंट्रोड्यूस करता हूं एज यूजुअल हमारे जो गेस्ट हैं, कार्तिक। और कार्तिक जी, आपका हार्दिक स्वागत है मेरे YouTube चैनल पर। एक बार फिर व्यूअर्स, आपको पता है, जिनको नहीं पता एक बार फिर से क्विकली बता देता हूं। कार्तिक IIT रुड़की के एल्यूमिनी हैं और प्राइवेट कंपनीज में, पब्लिक लिमिटेड कंपनीज में एक बड़े पद पर कार्यरत हैं और IT में ही हैं। और हम कई और सेशंस में जुड़ते हैं। तो मेरा एक सबसे बेहतरीन रहता है उनके साथ डिस्कशन करने का। तो हम इस तरह के टॉपिक पर डिस्कस करते हैं। तो ज़्यादा समय ना लेते हुए मैं इस टॉपिक पर आगे बढ़ूंगा। तो पहला क्वेश्चन की शुरुआत, कार्तिक, 3 weeks back we connected on topic of who is Ravanas in our life. In this session we now moving forward with the science of Vasanas, the complete cycle. Kindly help us understand what we will be covering in today's topic.
Thank you, Trivanji. So, this topic, which we have chosen, the science of Vasanas, that is the incomplete cycles. So, we all know the power of the man is the power of his mind. So, in today's topic, we will be covering what is mind and its components, what are Vasanas or incomplete cycles, and the strategy, tragedy, and remedy for these incomplete cycles.
Okay, well, so what we will do then, Karthik, I think I know that this topic is very important, and the first two components we will make cover in the first video, which is going to be our complete mind and component, vasanas or the incomplete cycles, and strategy and strategy. So these we will cover in one video, maybe otherwise it will be little lengthier. And the remedy is also important part of it, which is we will discuss 100% in the second part of the video, right? So let's commence our journey today's session with our question, what are the mind and the component, then Karthik?
Sure. So wonderful question. So human mind has two components. One is the conscious mind and other one is the subconscious mind. What is conscious mind? Conscious mind is nothing but the thought, memories, and feelings that one is aware in the present moment. Then what is subconscious mind? Thought, urges, and feelings that are outside of the conscious awareness. So let me help you with an example. So before coming for this session, I had visited somewhere and I was driving back home and I had reached the signal and it was red, so I stopped the car. And adjacent to me, there was another person in another car, and that was a very familiar face. I was not able to recollect the name. I was thinking, who's this person is? Who's this person is? Kaun hai ye aadmi? And suddenly the signal turned green. I cannot keep thinking on this particular question. I start the drive and I continue on this. So, but the question has come, who this person is, and I have to continue my journey home, and my conscious mind has to get involved in the driving. So what the conscious mind will do is, conscious mind will push the question down to the subconscious mind, and the conscious mind will be involved in the driving. What is subconscious mind now doing? Subconscious mind is still continuing to ask for who that person is, keep on asking. And what will happen, I tell you. Tomorrow morning, while taking bath, a eureka moment will happen. Suddenly the name will pop up. He is that person, whatever that he is. Now, this is what is called as Vasana. This is what is called as the incomplete cycle. And our subconscious mind, okay, this is the way it works. And these are the kinds of incomplete cycle which is filled in our subconscious mind. And if you take the case of our subconscious mind, it is 7 times bigger than the conscious mind.
Wow. So 7 times bigger. No wonder why it's important to focus the power of subconscious mind. Kindly help us to understand more about now what are vasanas. I want to get, I think we should get into little deep dive into this topic because that is the important things which one should understand.
Definitely. So before I explain what are vasanas, so let me share 2 important things about the subconscious mind. One is there is no conscious recall. And second is there is no subconscious give up. That means the conscious mind does not have the ability to recall, so it leverages on subconscious mind. Second thing is the subconscious mind, once it is delegated a task, it cannot give up the task on its own. So one of the 2 things has to happen. One is either subconscious mind has to find the answer and then only it will say the task is completed, or the conscious mind has to send a message to the subconscious mind to say that I no more need this incomplete cycle, and that's how the cycle gets completed. So that's why I said there is no conscious recall and there is no subconscious give up. So what are these incomplete cycles which are there in the subconscious mind? One is desire entertained but not fulfilled. Second is emotions are formed but they are not expressed. Third is unaddressed karmic debt and karmic investment. So let me share some examples to understand how the incomplete cycles are created. Okay, example 1. For example, I am on fasting, upas, and my neighbor is on feasting, dawat hai, and the person has made pav bhaji, which is my favorite dish. Now, my neighbor has invited me to their house for the pav bhaji, and I am on fasting. So I say, no, I'm not coming. But the desire to have pav bhaji has already caused saliva in my mouth.
Correct.
Now, that desire, which is born but has been suppressed because of fasting, will settle in the subconscious mind like an incomplete cycle. Okay. Example 2. I am driving on the road and I see an incident where somebody on the road is harassing somebody else. Okay. Say, imagine the person is a cop. Okay, policeman is harassing somebody. I get angry and I get a feeling that I will go and better beat that person.
Hmm.
But I know very well he's a policeman. If I beat him, I'll be beaten back. So I say it is okay to just ignore and go. Now the emotion is born, but I have not expressed it. This will settle as an incomplete cycle and will remain the incomplete cycle till this cycle is fulfilled.
Hmm.
Okay. So this is how incomplete cycles are born. It need not necessarily be self-conceived.
Hmm.
It can also be borrowed incomplete cycle. For example, somebody comes to me and tells me there is a new shopping mall which is opened in close to my house, and then tells me something about great about that shopping mall, some of the experiences which that person had. Now, listening to that person, I develop the desire to go to the shopping mall. Now, till that desire is fulfilled, it will remain an incomplete cycle, which is what I call as borrowed incomplete cycle.
Hmm. Correct.
So, this incomplete cycle can borrow, can emerge out of any desire and any emotion. It can be right from the food to skin, right from anger to lust. Anything, any desire, any emotion will result in an incomplete cycle.
Hmm.
It can be purposeful and constructive. It can as well be a mere gratification. It
Hmm.
can also be a destructive incomplete
Nature.
cycle.
Hmm.
For example, Ravan's desire to acquire Sita was an incomplete cycle. It was a sheer gratification.
Correct.
Krishna also had the incomplete cycle and he wanted the dharma to be established, which was another incomplete cycle.
Hmm.
It was constructive in nature. Sir Isaac Newton, who saw an apple falling from the tree, and a question generated in his head, why did the apple fall? And that became an incomplete cycle and settled in him,
Hmm.
which took more than a decade
Hmm.
of research for him to find an answer, which
Hmm.
is another, okay, that is a purposeful and constructive incomplete cycle. So these incomplete cycle, okay, start building up from the time the child is born and will continue till the last breath. Some incomplete cycle will be fulfilled, some will remain unfulfilled, and that unfulfilled incomplete cycle will get passed on to another child who is born, and that child's quota of incomplete cycle will start with this incomplete cycle as the opening balance.
Correct. 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 So let's today we are planning to cover the strategy and tragedy and the remedy as well pertaining to the vasanas. So can you help us to understand the strategy and tragedy?
Sure, Tribhuvan. So the life, zindagi ka safar, okay, so our life journey, that has many definition. So one of the definition relevant to today's topic is about acquiring new vasanas and closing the existing vasanas. So when a man dies, there are still some unaddressed vasanas which remain buried in the subconscious mind. And let's also understand one thing. We are not a body carrying the energy. No, it is instead, we are the energy that is carrying this body. So body is also a form of energy, which is the energy in gross form, which is visible. Okay, if this
Hmm.
is the body, which is the gross form that is visible, there is mind, which is the subtler form of energy, which is engulfing this body.
Hmm.
Intelligence and emotions are even subtler energy, which is engulfing the mind. So, when the man dies, the body dies, and along with the body, the conscious mind also dies. But the subconscious mind, okay, is still alive and it gets acquired by some new child born in this world, and that and the incomplete cycle which the child acquires has a significant role to play in that person's life.
Hmm.
Now, if we look at what we spoke earlier. The power of the man is the power of mind, or what we also say is the mind of the man is the man. So the child that has acquired the incomplete cycles which is left behind is nothing but the rebirth of the person who has already left. So therefore, one needs to be cognizant about what is the kind of vasanas one is leaving behind. So that is the tragedy of vasana. However, the same can be used as a strategy as well. You want to know how? While we hear from many religious gurus that vasanas are bad, vasanas, we hear a lot of negative things about vasana. So
Correct.
let's also, let me, with this, I can attempt to liberate a few of you by telling you that vasana need not necessarily be tragedy. Vasana can also be a strategy.
Absolutely.
So, what we do when we touch the feet of Mata, Pita, Guru, what they do? They give Ashirvad to us. What is that Ashirvad? Ashirvad is nothing but it is planting an incomplete cycle in the form of a desire in the other person.
Correct.
In this incomplete cycle, what gets covered? Something pertaining to growth, something pertaining to prosperity, something pertaining to abundance is what is planted as a desire. Okay. When we say, okay, Juk Juk Jio, or we say we will make it very, very big in life, whatever wishes we give, that's what we call as Ashirvad, which is nothing but an incomplete cycle I am planting on the other person. Unfortunately, many religious cynics make fun of it because they have not understood, okay, or they have not been taught the science behind this particular thing.
Correct.
So, how to make the Ashirvad work as a strategy? So, what we should do is we should convey the Ashirvad by making it specific and also ensuring it is positive and not non-negative. So when I say positive and not non-negative, what I mean is, okay, it is better to say, I want to see you hale and healthy, instead of telling that I let you be free of sickness and problems. Now, for a conscious mind, okay, free from sickness and problem, hale and healthy may mean the same thing, but it doesn't leave the same emotion in the subconscious mind.
Correct.
So, when we are giving Ashirvad, let's ensure that the Ashirvad is positive and not non-negative. In fact, if you refer to scriptures, they also say parents should never curse their child, or that curse will end up planting a negative incomplete cycle in the mind of the child, which will in turn prove destructive for the child. So that is why they say never curse a child. So that's how we use, that's what we understand as the tragedy as well as the strategy of Vasanas.
करेक्ट. सो व्यूअर्स, मैं इसमें जो कार्तिक ने अभी समझाया उसमें बस इतना ही ऐड मैं करूँगा कि जैसा हम बात कर रहे हैं कि कई जगह आप देखोगे जो दूसरे धर्मगुरु हैं या जो हमारे ग्रंथ हैं, ग्रंथों में तो ऐसा नहीं लिखा है, लेकिन हाँ जो हमारे गुरु लोग जो इसको इंटरप्रेट करते हैं वो ऐसे करते हैं कि जैसे कि इच्छाएं रखना ही जो है इंसान के लिए मतलब ठीक नहीं है. तो इच्छाओं को रखना ठीक नहीं है ये कहना गलत है, लेकिन जैसा कि मैंने अपने शुरुआत में भी बताया कि इच्छाएं आपकी अगर नहीं होंगी तो आपको पता ही नहीं चलेगा आपको आगे बढ़ना क्या है, आपका मोटिव क्या है, आपको सक्सेस कैसे होना. तो इच्छाएं होती हैं, लेकिन उनका मैनेजमेंट, उनकी स्ट्रेटजी बनाना जो अभी कार्तिक ने डिस्कस करा वो इम्पोर्टेंट है. तो मेरे ख्याल से आज का सेशन को ये वाला वीडियो यहीं तक रखते हैं, और जो अगला वीडियो होगा व्यूअर्स वो देखना ना भूलें, जिसमें कि हमने बात करनी है रेमेडी के ऊपर, क्योंकि यहाँ तक हमें समझ में आ गया कि हमारी वासना का क्या इम्पैक्ट है, कैसे है, क्या स्ट्रेटेजी बनानी है, ये सारी चीज़ें हम समझ चुके हैं. अब इससे ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है कि रेमेडी क्या है, फिर इसको कंट्रोल कैसे करेंगे. वी विल डिस्कस इन अवर नेक्स्ट सेशन. डोंट फॉरगेट टू सी अवर नेक्स्ट वीडियो. तो कार्तिक, मिलते हैं एक दूसरे वीडियो में.